Well, I'm glad that he picked holidays because I have a story about New Year's. I don't have anything particularly exciting that's happened around Christmas time. I'm sorry. Other than the fact that my niece called me the other day convinced that they're celebrating Hanukkah and she should get her gifts now. So as far as Christmas goes, nothing particularly exciting. I grew up in Chapel Hill, Tennessee. It's about an hour south of here. It's really fun and exciting. We have the largest tractor pull in the South. Every year we get out of school for flooding. And it took an hour each day for the bus to get to my house, and I was the last one off, which I thought was like a reward. Like, the bus driver, I was his favorite. So, moved to Eastern Kentucky, also fun. I've seen my fair share of redneck activities, and I've even participated in a few. This stays here. What happens at story time stays at story time. Usually we try to leave the rednecking to those who don't make it out of the holler very often. For you northern folk, that's the hollow. It's in between the hills. However, there was one redneck activity that was pretty unique to my family, and that was the way we spent New Year's Eve. This is probably one of the most backwoods things that I've ever participated in, and I'm including the time I convinced my dad to hook up my little four-wheeler, the plastic ones, to the back of the lawnmower as he was mowing. I was 7, and the battery died, so I thought, please, Dad. Before I tell you about New Year's, I need to tell you a little bit about my family and how we spend the holidays in general. If you were here for October 10 by 9, you heard a little bit about how my sister, my dad, and I would go Christmas tree hunting and spend hours in the woods hunting for the perfect tree. We didn't have a lot of excitement over Christmas break because, I don't know if you noticed, but Tennessee isn't exactly known for its awesome snowfall during the wintertime. We've had a few ice storms, but those usually resulted in my sisters and me attempting to pretend it was snow and coming in with busted chins and or kneecaps. Or my dad clotheslining on the clothesline and slipping in the ice. And my mom with, I told you so. Needless to say, Christmas tree hunting was one of the major highlights of our holidays. We decorated the tree like clockwork at the day after Thanksgiving every year, and it stayed up until New Year's. If you don't know very much about having a real tree in your home, or even if you do, you must know that it's important to keep the tree watered, because if it dries out, any little thing can start a fire. Here's a little foreshadowing for my story. Christmas trees are flammable. After Christmas, there wasn't very much to look forward to. We lived in the middle of nowhere, so we never really went to any New Year's Eve extravaganzas or events. After talking with my mom and sister, I found out recently, when I told them I was going to tell this story, that my older sister used to babysit for a local country singer in Franklin. This singer's family used to participate in a rather unorthodox way of bringing in the new year, and my dad thought that this was a brilliant idea. We were going to blow up the Christmas tree. That's right, I said it. And it's important to note that we blew up the Christmas tree every year for as long as I can remember, so I was pretty young and impressionable. I thought this was a great idea. There was one year in particular that I will never forget as long as I live. It was the last year we blew up the tree, so I guess you could say we went out with a bang. Pun intended. This is how we did it. Starting Christmas Day, we stopped watering the tree. We just let it dry out as much as possible. We took all of the decorations off of the tree and left it standing in our living room until the big day. On New Year's Eve, my dad would carry the tree about 250, 300 feet, reasonable distance, I think, behind our house where we would have bonfires and throw it on top. This final year, we did the same thing we did every year and what any reasonable Southerner would do when they're blowing up their Christmas tree. And we filled it with fireworks. My mom's gonna kill me. We stuffed this tree as full as we could to get with Roman candles, my mom's favorite, bottle rockets, Dad's favorite, and anything else that seemed reasonable and child appropriate. Most years, our choice of entertainment wasn't very dangerous. That last year, I think God was telling us that maybe we shouldn't do it anymore unless we wanted to meet him a lot sooner than expected. The final year, we followed protocol as normal. We stuffed the tree. My dad asked us to back up because obviously safety was very important. He poured it. This is where I'm like, should I tell people this? Y'all don't know my dad. It's fine. You'll never meet him. He poured a little gasoline on top. Another genius idea. And lit it on fire. Like I said, normally it's okay. And the fireworks snap and pop and maybe occasionally fly out, but not usually. This year, the fireworks were a little angrier than normal. 1 minute, everything is fine, and the next we were running for our lives back to the house. I swear, it was like that moment in Dante's Peak when the volcano erupts and large meteor like asteroids and flaming rocks are falling from the sky and Pierce Brosnan's swerving to avoid them. That was me running through the backyard. We zigzagged through the backyard all the way up to the house where the bottle rockets continued to shoot past us and ping off the siding. Roman candles made their debut, and this was the first moment when I thought maybe this whole thing was a bad idea. My sister's friend was having a minor meltdown about nearly getting hit by a bottle rocket, while my dad was nearly rolling on the ground from laughing. I was exasperated at how he clearly didn't see the seriousness behind our near-death experience. At 14, everything was definitely that serious. Finally, the time between each loud pop that sounded like a gunshot started to go longer and longer until we could no longer hear it. We finally felt safe enough to round the house and took a look at our fine work. The Christmas tree that just a few days before had held all of our precious ornaments, Christmas tree lights, and icicles had been reduced to nearly nothing. Shocker, right? We went in the house, exhausted at surviving the Christmas tree explosion of 2001, watched the ball drop, and went to bed. After that year, we bought a fake tree and had friends over for New Year's. I moved to Kentucky and we never blew up another Christmas tree. Even though I consider it the most redneck thing my family ever did, how many of you ever got to blow up your Christmas tree?